Welcome back, dear romantics and truth hunters, to Turkish series stars. Today we're not just recounting a headline, we're stepping into a fever dream of love and pressure, a tale where two public darlings found themselves face to face with a storm that no planner, no stylist, no security cordon could hold back. Before we step into the center of this whirlwind, remember, your support is what keeps our lights on. Subscribe to Turkish series stars, tap the bell, and settle in for a story you won't soon forget. Are you ready to hear what really happened at the wedding of the year that never came to be? Everything had been arranged with surgical precision. Picture it, a palatial villa kissing the Bosphorus, awash in white blooms that perfumed the air like a promise. Crystal chandeliers scattered the last gold of the Istanbul sun across marble floors, and a small army of waiters, perfectly choreographed, waited for the toast that would christen a new era. Yağmur, Yüksel and Barış Baktaş were about to step into the fairy tale everyone thought they knew by heart. Millions had imagined the moment, the gown, the vows, the way his eyes would search for hers and find home. But under the sheen of perfection, a breeze turned to a shiver to a chill. It happened quickly, brutally. Hours, only hours, before the first notes of the wedding march would climb the air, the bride was nowhere to be found. Not a fashionable delay, not a diva's quirk. A vanishing act. Panic cut through the celebrations like a shard of glass. In the bridal suite, time held its breath. The dress, silk, lace, luminous, hung uninhabited, the image of a dream without a dreamer. Makeup brushes slept on the vanity, untouched, as if they too had stopped breathing. Yağmur's mother moved through the room on shaking legs, mascara carved into her cheeks like night rivers. She clutched a silent phone, murmuring her confusion to the walls. She was glowing this morning. She hugged me and said it was the best day of her life. What changed? The guests felt it like a low, spreading fever. Tables of famous faces turned into islands of speculation. Some looked for a scandal, others for a hero or a villain. And yet at the eye of the storm stood Barış, not shattering, not exploding, steadfast. Not cold, not aloof, but quietly certain in a way that made rumor look small. While whispers grew fangs and cameras angled for blood, he told his team evenly, persistently, I know the woman I love. She wouldn't run without a reason that breaks her heart. There is an answer, and I will find it. In the glare of public embarrassment, his loyalty became the first true vow spoken that day. The sun slid lower, painting the water with copper. Istanbul seemed to hold its breath. And then, a chime. Not a dramatic phone call, not lines of text, just a ping on the manager's screen. Coordinates, nothing more. A point on a map, far from lights and dresses and glossy speeches, pointing to a small house curled at the edge of a wooded stretch, quiet as a held note. Barış didn't ask permission. He left the questions, the flashbulbs, the stunned guests. He drove with the force of a promise, as if the coordinates had been stitched into his heartbeat. Past the city's fever, into the hush of green. At that country retreat, where the loudest thing was the wind, he found no drama queen, no headline villain. He found a woman who had crumpled under a weight that did not belong to love. Not to theirs. Yağmur wasn't running from him. She was trying to outrun the version of herself the world insisted on seeing, the one polished to a mirror that reflected everything but her own face. I had to get away, she said, voice ruined from crying, eyes swollen and bright with the relief of telling the truth. Not from you, Barış. Never from you. From the noise. From all the expectations that don't blink, that don't sleep. I'm terrified that the world wants a perfect bride more than it wants me. And I'm afraid I'll vanish trying to be her. What he did next redrew the map of devotion. He didn't ask where the money went, didn't count the photographers he'd abandoned, didn't invoke image or damage or strategy. He dropped to his knees so their eyes were level, took her cold hands like fragile birds, and said, quietly, like an oath, if time is what you need, it's yours. If space is what helps you breathe, I'll stand back. I want you, not a performance. I want a life with you, not a spectacle for them. No vows. No officiant. No playlist. And yet that room of wood and light witnessed the truest ceremony. They held each other and shook with the kind of tears that empty you out and make room for a beginning. In that embrace, they chose each other, not for a headline, not for a camera, but for everything that would follow when no one was looking. Let me pause here and turn to our family at Turkish series stars. What would you have done, in their places? Would you have slammed on the brakes to protect your sanity, or would you have gone through with the show? And if you were in his shoes, would you have stood so still, so patient? Tell us in the comments. This is a conversation worth having. And if this story touches you, share it, like it, and keep supporting Turkish series stars so we can keep bringing you these moments that feel like they belong to all of us. Morning arrived like a reporter desperate for a quote. The world wanted confessions, apologies, timelines, a villain neatly labeled. They got none. The couple built a wall of silence you couldn't buy your way past. Bookings were cancelled, social feeds went dark, and they retreated to that modest hideaway where everything had broken and then mended with trembling hands. A week crept by. And then a small breach, unintended, honest. During an unrelated interview, Barış's sister, gentle and grounded, offered a sentence that set off sparks of hope across fan pages. They're together, but they're healing. Sometimes love needs quiet more than it needs speeches. What followed wasn't the outrage many predicted. A wave of tenderness rose instead. Timelines filled not with blame but with understanding. The phrase Yağmur v Barış started appearing everywhere, not as a weapon but as a soft banner for compassion. Better a sincere pause than a pretty lie, one comment read, gathering a chorus beneath it. And then, the turning point that silenced the cynics. Barış spoke, but not from a studio chair or beneath studio lights. He filmed himself walking through the trees, light breaking into ribbons through the canopy. The phone shook slightly in his hand, like his breath, and he spoke with a vulnerability no script can fake. A ceremony doesn't define the love. Sometimes a quiet day can hold more truth than a stadium full of noise. I meant it when I said I would wait. I'm here. When you're ready, I'm still here. The video didn't explode, it bloomed, passed softly from friend to friend, and still found millions. It felt less like a statement and more like a confession to the air. The next day, Yağmur answered without a press release. One story. A single picture of two hands, not manicured for a campaign but ordinary and warm, interlaced at a kitchen table. Her caption, "Thank you for keeping hold when I lost my grip on myself." Half the country went quiet for a moment, as if listening to a heartbeat return to rhythm. Their teams broke the silence only to shield it. A short note said what needed saying and nothing more. Yağmur and Barış are prioritizing their well-being. No new dates. No timeline. No promise to reschedule accompanied by fireworks and a sponsored cake. In a world that measures feelings in clicks and carrots, they chose the most rebellious path available to people like them, privacy. And privately, they began again. Brick by careful brick. Not the manicured kind, but the sturdy kind you lay when you know storms come. Walks with hats pulled low. Long breakfasts with phones face down. Laughter that echoed because it didn't need to be posted. Support from his family, quiet check-ins from hers. Therapy sessions whispered about but never disclosed, because healing doesn't need a caption. Will there be another date? Maybe. Maybe not. One wise fan wrote something that stuck to the ribs of the story. They already married with their eyes, with honesty, with the decision to stay. We at Turkish series stars will be here, watching with respect, choosing decency over easy drama, because sometimes the most dramatic choice is restraint. What do you think? Does a trial like this forge armor, or does it leave cracks that never fully close? Tell us how you see it. Would you have chosen the same? Would you have waited or walked? We're listening, truly. And thank you for being with us, for being the kind of audience that allows a love story to breathe. From Turkish series stars, we send you warmth until the next truth finds its voice.